So I think it is absolutely hilarious.
Wow. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
You know what? This is what happened when words stop meaning things
Yep.
objectively.
Yep.
When words just become tools that you can use to impose, to access power,
Yep.
to manipulate power.
Yep.
This is what we get when we jump into the waters of critical theory. This is where we end up, where nothing means anything, and therefore we say what we say. We can be facile, arguing for one point today, and then using the same reasoning, argue the opposite tomorrow. Today, a woman's right to the integrity of her own body is being used to create a right to abortion.
Right.
Yet, the fact that the Constitution does say your property cannot be taken from you without due process.
Mm-hmm.
So remember the guy, half of those chromosomes came from a guy.
Right.
I mean a biological male, okay?
Yeah,
For
an
those of
actual
you-
man.
Yeah, a real man. A man.
Yeah.
Not a female man.
Yeah.
But his chromosomes were taken. His chromosomes did what they were supposed to do when they united to her chromosomes. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. They united, they formed this entity. And if he were to say to her, well, I do want the baby.
Right.
I thought you wanted the baby when we, did what we did, and we didn't take anything or put on anything or do anything else to prevent it. I thought you were cool with the idea too. And I'm even willing to pay.
Right.
And she says no. One woman says no. I want to kill this thing.
Right.
And then in another scenario, the man says, wait a minute. I did some things to prevent this from happening. I don't know what wrong, but I don't want a kid. And she says, well, I do.
Right.
And guess what?
Yep.
You're going to help me raise it.
For the next 18 to 21, child support.
I'm getting 1/3 of what you make
Yep.
without due process. I'm going to get it because I've got these chromosomes. I've got you by a certain other body
Yes.
part.
The short hairs. Let's just go with the short hairs.
I've got you.
Yes.
So either way it goes, the guy, if anybody is treated as a lesser being in this whole question, it's guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's one more thing. If women are about half the population, unless every woman in this country is going to have at least one abortion in her lifetime, what percentage of women are actually impacted by this hypothetical right to be able to have an abortion?
Well, actually, I've heard that it's a quarter. A quarter of women will have an abortion at some point in their lives.
At some point in their lives.
Yeah.
Now, they're not including miscarriages, right?
I didn't.
Because I don't want to talk about the whole ectopic pregnancy thing
Yeah.
or the miscarriage that occurs naturally.
You're talking about an abortion.
That's right.
Yeah.
One of those, not because her life was in danger, not because the child was actually dead inside the womb or near dead. I'm talking about those 90+% of abortions that are purely elective in nature.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
How many? So they're saying about 25%. Okay. So that means 25% of the American population is holding 75% of the American population captive to their will.
I never thought about it on those terms.
I never did either, for two reasons. One, because I'm never going to have an abortion.
Yeah.
Because I'm, XY.
Right.
I don't have a uterus.
An actual man.
Yes. I'm a real man.
Yes.
And I'm married to a woman
Right.
who, we've got our 2 kids and we're happy with our 2 kids. But if somehow, against all of our intentions, everything we did to be careful, another child came, we would not solve that problem by killing what in our opinion, God clearly would want us to have if we've tried to do everything to avoid it, and the baby came anyway.
Right.
We'd say, okay, the will of the Lord be done, and we'd make it work. We'd do just like our parents did, just like their parents did. You know, some of our grandparents had like 8 and 9 kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And they made a whole lot less money than we make.
Right.
And they had a whole lot fewer creature comforts and tech and all these other things that we have. You know,
take for granted.
Yes, they had to actually work from before the sun rose till after the sun set, and yet they managed to take care of, raise a bunch of kids.
Right.
They did that. And we act like one child is, such a gross imposition on our autonomy, and how will we be able to survive? How will we live? How will we be happy with this parasite who has invaded? That's how some of these people say, the way they describe it.
I could go to Twitter right now and bring some videos up about, some of the one of my favorite newer accounts is Libs of TikTok, where this woman actually aggregates these videos of TikTok videos of people talking about stuff like abortion, and some of them are blatantly disgusting. Okay, just blatantly sounding genocidal, blatantly genocidal about the topic. Oh, but we have a caller, Rev. Hello, caller.
Hey, Scott.
What's up?
Good, Rev.
Yes, sir.
What you gonna do? Just sit back and be quiet, not open your mouth, huh? Okay, good, Rev. Hey, Scott.
Yes.
Now look. You know money make people, YouTube rappers, money make people stay and do some crazy things, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, look. Now, let's get an understanding of this. Reverend, when you was up there in New York City driving, all no crazy street, how many names you heard people hollering and calling out?
Oh, my goodness.
Don't, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Look, during the Constitution days, back in the 1700s, well, first of all, when was the first car made? Back in the 7th, well, you can Google everything I tell you. You can go ahead and Google.
Right.
We understand the first automobile was made back in the 1700s, but the thing on the go, it was like 1 mile an hour.
I believe it.
All you gotta do is just go ahead and Google all this. Just dig into your good old Google, just very deep. Don't get discouraged if you can't find it. Now, I heard you brought the name of Mississippi. Good brother.
Yes.
That's when I was down there, and I'm quite sure it's the same way, but they're trying to modernize it. That was worse than Nazi Germany. You don't believe this, do you?
I believe it.
Do you know what they were doing to black boys and black girls down there?
Oh, I mean, we've heard about that for many years.
Oh, yeah, how they were cutting off their privacy.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we start talking, words will say anything. Don't try to use pretty words to pretty it up. Just tell it like it is. That's all I'm asking. But I know you're doing what you have to do. I know you can't say what you want to say on radio.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I'm going to leave it at that. I just want to bring a little small insight. But I know you mean well when you speak it, and you speak it well. I'm going to let you go now, but I just had to bring a forefront out so we won't get too lost into sugarcoating it.
All right.
Okay, bye.
All right, thank you for your call. Yeah, I absolutely understand. Back there in the South, my people come from Mississippi. I told the story about my great-grandfather had to run up from Mississippi because the KKK was after him.
Right.
I had that basically, I think, on both sides of my family. My other family from Arkansas, the amount of torture that a lot of our people from the South were going through. They called it they used to actually, strangely enough, you brought this up earlier in the segment, Rev, about forcibly operating on women, and they used to call it things like that, the Mississippi appendectomy. That's what they did to Fannie Lou Hamer. That's what she called it, when they forcibly sterilized her when she was young. And so that is the type of stuff that they used to do. Ironically, that's definitely targeting women's bodies. The modern Roe v. Wade discourse is about white liberals and the colored people who love them trying to push a narrative that protects the Democratic Party from, again, having to do their job and legislate. Again, and we never talk about this, right? About how basically white women voted for this, okay? 53% of white women voted for Donald Trump in 2016, okay? One of the justices that voted to overturn Roe v. Wade was Amy Coney Barrett, who Donald Trump put on his his Supreme Court.
Right.
And Donald Trump did even better with white women. And keep it real. And this is another thing the corporate media that's very liberal does not like to talk about, which is Donald Trump did better with every demographic group in 2020 than he did in 2016, with the exception for white men. White men are the reason that Joe Biden won the presidency, because they are the only ones that sort of turned away from Trump. Every other demographic, black men, black women, Hispanic men, Hispanic women, Asian men, Asian women, Native American men, Native American women, all voted more for Donald Trump in 2020 than they did in 2016. He improved with every demographic group. So women, except for white men, okay? White women and a lot of women in general voted to put the Republicans in power. They voted for Donald Trump in 2016, knowing that he was going to do what he's going to do and put those anti-choice justices, or at least the constitutionalists, as they like to call themselves, justices on the. And so this nonsense about, this is just about men trying to legislate over women's body. A lot of the female governors, I think the governor of Alabama, home to one of the most strict anti-abortion laws, is a woman. So again, don't allow the liberal media to push this gender war crap. Okay, this is gender war, because that's really what it is. Now there's been a lot of articles written about what America without Roe v. Wade would look like. And so what is expected that legislatures in 22 states will almost certainly move to ban or substantially restrict access to abortion. Now, some women would be able to travel out of state to, states like California, like New York, like Illinois. I mean, we're in Indiana. A lot of women would have to go to Illinois. Others would have access to pills. Obviously now you would probably see the back alley abortion make somewhat of a comeback. I
actually question that, though.
Right.
For one, because of the access to those pills.
Right.
For example, there's a pill. Now, I know that I read one article that talked about, I guess in some state, some pills you have to go see a doctor in order to get. But there's a pill called the morning after pill.
Right.
You don't have to go to a doctor.
You get that from Walgreens.
Exactly. So if you had, I know this is, 6:36.
This is a family show,
yes,
Rev.
Family hour. So if you were being intimate with somebody with whom you do not wish to have a future, you have not yet decided that you want to have a lifetime future with this person, but you decided you want to entertain yourselves and be intimate, you could get up the next morning, run to your local Walgreens, over the counter, buy this pill that would deal with any consequences that you did not want to have to deal with. Mm-hmm. It's that easy.
Right.
So guess what, people? No, you won't have to go back to coat hangers. You won't have to go back to some lady with some wild-looking clothes, who whatever it is, the macabre horror story is, if this happens, the technology has changed immensely since 1973.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And before we go to a break here, I just want to say there's like 1,000 more ways. Like you just said, the morning after pill, the Depo-Provera shot, you have the IUD implant, you have 100 different types of birth control pills. So if you have a bad reaction to one birth control pill, there's like 90 others on the market. Like I said, a lot of this is politics. This is politics. Do not, especially if you're black, do not let corporate liberal media drag you into some garbage like this, or even the corporate conservative media, Fox News, drag you into this stuff, because like I said, any of these people could have created laws. Congress could do its job at any time, folks. Remember that Congress can always do its job at any time. The parliamentarian, the filibuster. All these things are things that are not written in stone that can never have anything done about it. Okay, so please. All right, folks, please stick with us. Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll be right back.
What about all those other supposed rights that are hanging in the balance behind this?
My body, my choice, except for the vaccine that they tried to force on all of us. And we're going to talk about that when we get back from a break. Please stick with us.
You are listening to Cannon Rev on WLTH 1370 AM. Give us a call, 219-885-1371.